What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. This is our weekly mastermind. We're going to get straight into it and update our numbers. Does anybody have their stuff pulled up? Or while you guys are pulling it up, I will go over Holly and Sam and Prince, who were not able to make the call. All three of them basically just maintained their listings. Sam right around 21,000. Holly is at 24,000. Prince, I think he's a little over 40,000 now. But we'll get their updates next week. But today we're going to go over our numbers, and then we're going to go into some photography strategies. So who wants to start? Ashley, do you have your numbers pulled up?
Yeah. Well, I just know them I looked them up right before I jumped on the call.
Cool.
On eBay, I'm up to 225 listings.
Okay.
At 7,500 in value or listed.
Awesome. And you want to give us an update on Amazon, which is?
Yeah, Amazon. So I sold last week about $6,000.
Nice.
So up, down. It was like at 27,000. Now we're at, because I haven't sent like a ton of stuff in, it's like at 22,000 for Amazon. So
22K in the last 30 days?
Oh no, sorry. 22,000 listed in Amazon in my inventory.
Listed. Okay.
But do you want my 30-day numbers on Amazon?
No, it was just your biggest week ever, and I wanted to tell people how awesome that is.
Yeah, it was huge. It was 6,000 on Amazon and then another 850 on eBay. So
what?
It was crazy. It was good. It was awesome. Mostly textbooks that I found at that school closing. So yeah, it was pretty great. And I'm hoping that money will just fuel me for Q4, which I have like the biggest payout I've ever had too. So I'll have plenty of cash to just roll into toys and games for Q4. I'm really excited.
Let's do it. And maybe the rest of us can get on Amazon a little bit so we can at least sell toys. I know I'm gearing up for that. So at least I can do the one thing.
Oh gosh. And I think you have to hurry because Amazon.
Yeah, I got the email for the things I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Laura, do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, I do. And I have a lot of auctions running right now.
Okay.
So my numbers are pretty low, actually. It's 16,053.
Okay.
And then I have 54.98 in auctions that I'll sell. But I have I think I have close to 200 or a little over auctions going right now just to clear out some inventory. So, yeah.
Where are you at for fixed?
Oh, I'm at 978.
Okay, that's way higher than you made it sound. Because you have
I know, and I'm trying to keep it over 1,000 though for my active.
That's true. And guys, I want to keep in mind this is a cool thing to notice, because as things get busy, if something happens or whatever, you can't go up every single week, but that is the goal. But it's not always the case. Sometimes it's hard to even just maintain. Let's go to Kevin.
What's going on? So my numbers are 147 active listings.
Nice.
And 54,000. That's 54,000 on.
Ballin'. So didn't quite hit that 60, but
no, but I definitely will. So you can hold that commitment. I'll probably surpass it. I'll try to get. But as I notice that I see, the more I start listing, I feel like I sell so much more. So it's like it's been hard to maintain. I had, I don't know if it says on here, I think we did 6,000 in the last week. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, 5,000 in the last week. So I listed, close to 59,000, but I sold 5,000 of it. So it's been tough to maintain and then get that progression at the same time. But I'm trying to understand more of how long it actually takes to list that volume or that number. So to actually get to $10,000 listed without anything crazy, it does take a good bit of time. So I know what the time management game is now with it, and I think I can achieve what I need to this week.
Awesome. And Mary?
Yeah, let's see. I'm still at 505. Like you said, it's a little bit of a hard time for me to maintain at the moment. 505 active, and that's 11,175 for fixed price listed. I was able to get a lot of the items that I put up on auction out. So that's good. Even if it was a little bit lower than what I wanted it. I just needed them out. Like I had
and your amount listed still went up. So that means you replaced it with better inventory, which is great.
True. That's my goal. Keep the ASP a little higher.
Yep. I updated my numbers in the previous call, but I added about $8,000 to it this week, and I'm approaching 6 figures again in eBay profit, because my margin net is actually, it's like 75% on this. But the new model that I'm doing, basically all garage sale items. So my cost on the $36 average sale price in the Husky store is $2. So 36 average sale price, the $2 cost is slaying it in that store. And then also for people who are watching this, the numbers that we have here don't include shipping. So if you have free shipping, it is accurate, but mine does not, which is another. I charge on average $9 an item for shipping. So if you would add that to the total if you guys are making the spreadsheet at home. But I just copied the larger stores I was looking at. For time, it looks like they all charge around $9 for shipping, and then they have a bunch of promotions like buy 2 get 3. I mean, if you buy 2 items, it's free, or 3 items, you get a discount and it's free, or they're trying to get people to buy more than one thing. So they're holding that free shipping ransom. You got to do something to get it, to earn it. So this week we're going to talk about photography and just some ideas on improving the batch process so that we can do stuff faster and improve it. And I was just looking at a couple of different stores on eBay. One of them, swap.com, they list 1,100 new items a day. And just looking at their operation, which I posted on Instagram, which is amazing. And one cool thing that I want to figure out, which I think everyone ever can benefit from, is their photos automatically sync with their listing. So they take a picture, and then they draft the listing, and then they just connect with each other and go into the system. There is no adding it together. So because of the way they've set up the programming, and that's amazing. It has something to do with adding the same number of photos every time, and the computer knows, and they're using file exchange, and like it's way less work than you would think to get 1,100 new listings up a day. It's like 5 people. It's not like as much as you would think, like a gigantic staff, but everything is automated. And when you look at their center, it looks identical to an FBA fulfillment center. So they're probably just straight up copying the king. And that's cool looking at that. So let's each give a tip on photography. And I think that's going to be massive. For me, I just switched to a Panasonic Lumix camera that has the 1:1 ratio built in. And I don't have to rotate the photos like I did when I was doing my iPhone. Sometimes I had to rotate them, sometimes I didn't. But this one, it orients them the same way each time. And also, it loads a new picture slightly faster than an iPhone, because it's just designed to do that one thing. And then also, I can do iFi, so it'll sync into a Dropbox, but you can do that with your phone also. But those are, my photo process right now is using an actual camera, and I'm taking the memory stick out or plugging it into my computer, but I could set up the Wi-Fi or the iFi if I want to stream it wirelessly. And my biggest challenge is, sorry, I'm hogging the call right now. My biggest challenge is matching the photos with the drafts. It's taking me way longer than expected. I don't have an easy way to do that. And it makes me sad that that company doesn't even have to do that. The computer's doing it automatically. So that sounds amazing.
What if you were able to slow it down and just draft less at a time? You know what I mean? Instead of drafting, 100 items and then doing 100 items, the photos for those 100 items, would it be easier if you did 10 drafts and then 10 photos and completed and then recycled that?
It would. At 25 listings, it's pretty easy to find them, but I will figure out how to do it automatically. I want to use eBay's API process, and having it just know would be great. And I think it's a matter of basically, let's say you do 10 items and then you take 9 pictures of 10 items, and the computer just knows this many photos is divided up and adds it all in the API. And
Nice.
a little bit scary because if it gets screwed up by one, then you have the wrong pictures for every single item. So
Right.
got to make sure you know what you're doing before you use a robot.
Yeah, it's funny how you were saying you were looking for a method that way and you actually found a company who's doing that.
Yeah.
It is possible. Everything's possible, right?
Everything is possible. And I'm really into the law of attraction right now. So I feel like I'm just going to bring my vibration up and, attract those people that are doing bigger, better things. A little frou-frou today, but I like it. Does anybody want to start with a photo idea or challenge?
Yeah, I also started with camera. I just felt like, kind of professional matter to grab a camera. And I saw that it was a little bit of a hassle to plug it in my computer every time. I think it is better to plug in a camera to your computer better than it is to remove the chip, the SD card every time. But after I kind of went full time, I decided to do a little bit more of a cell phone approach just because I never really gave it a full shot. So I did that, and then I work out of a lot of Apple products. So I use AirDrop to, I use my phone to photograph the item. I usually do flat lace. I am using my mannequin still, but I feel like flat lace a little faster. And then I have my iMac, and then I AirDrop everything. And like Kevin suggested, if you do a smaller portion, you're able to find them way faster. And also what I did was create a folder. It's one for downloads and one for eBay. And when I transfer all of the AirDrop photos, it goes automatically into my downloads. And as I'm finding it on the listing, I connect them and send them live. But at some point when I'm done with a few, I go back into my downloads and I pull those that I've already listed into my eBay that's kind of disregarded, put it away. And it still allows me to have way less photos, so I don't have to scroll all the way down because it does get a little bit time consuming. So that's kind of a good thing, AirDrop, if you're able to use Apple products or any type of iMac, MacBook, and so on. AirDrop makes it so much easier to where no Dropbox is used, no SD card, or none of that wiring stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's good. That's good.
Which iPhone are you using?
I'm working with the iPhone 6 Plus. So it's kind of faster than the 5 or the S, but I feel that the cameras are still kind of, I haven't forgotten about my camera. I feel like sometimes, depending on what item I want to take photos of, I will bring it back up. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I switch back and forth too. It's nice. I think I wonder if the 7 is significantly better. Probably.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit clearer, the Retina display.
Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
So I totally switched up my picture taking method now. Like when I had somebody that worked for me, I did similar to what you do, Mary. Like what I used to do is she would take it, and she did have an iPhone 7, and I can tell you the picture quality is amazing, so good. Like she could take bad pictures and still make it look good, But what she did was she would batch them based on, I have a bin system for my inventory, and I would give her a whole bin to do at one time. So when she would drop the photos into Dropbox, is what we used, I would make the folder for her based on the bin number. So she would only have 35 items per folder, and it made it easier for her to find because it was labeled by the bin, and she would never lose inventory because it was always based on the bin that she was working on at the time. So I literally have a folder in my Dropbox for each bin in my inventory. But now I do it a lot different since it's just me. I've been trying to find ways to go around dropping it in because, guys, I'm so old school when it comes to my phone. Like I have a Samsung 6. I'm not an iPhone user. I do have a MacBook that I use to list with. But I'm not an iPhone user. I'm just like one of those pain in the butt people that refuse to switch. So I've been trying to find faster ways to do it. And for me, the fastest way is to actually take pictures within the app. Like I'll list first with my new method of doing sell similar, and then I'll put all my information in, save it as a draft, and then I'll take pictures within the app 20 at a time, make them live 20 at a time, and keep moving. Like I'll make them live right after I take the pictures. And it's just been really easy for me, especially because I have made my phone 1-to-1 ratio as I'm taking the pictures within the app. So I literally just click, put in, click, put in, click, put in, and then make it live because the listing's complete at that point. So I don't even have to like go back to my drafts. I just make it live as I'm taking pictures. So, and the biggest problem I'm having though is, and I'm going to call eBay until like the cows come home, about being able to see more than 20 drafts at a time. It pisses me off on a day-to-day basis. So besides that, like just making it active will make them come to the top, but it's still really annoying. So hopefully they change that soon.
Fair enough. Kevin?
Yeah, so I jotted some stuff down while everybody was talking about their different methods. So I photograph mainly shoes. I didn't notice that there's any difference when I'm doing that. If I take 4 photos, 5 photos, 9 photos, there's really not a difference. I try to, with my main photo, shoot the shoe from left to right as if you were like reading a book or something like that. So that would be heel to toe basically. And that's usually my main photo. And then from there, and also I shoot everything from an Android phone. I am an iPhone user, but I have an Android phone as my work phone, and that has a better resolution. It's also better for lighting, so I use that. And then, like everybody else, I draft everything first, and then once the drafts are set up, I do my research because I think that that's key, figuring out what everything's selling for. Seeing where I can come in at. Usually I try to come in at the lower price, and then, I copy a listing that probably matches best with what I'm selling. And then, I save that as a draft, update my stuff into it. I started using, Chris, you gave me a method on how to track my inventory. So I started using that. That's been helpful. And then I just throw my photos into it, and that's it.
Amazing. Ashley?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So, oh my gosh, I'm like so dumb, you guys. Well, okay. This is what I do, and I'll tell you I'm still newish to eBay, so please forgive me for my noviceness. But so I started out with my DSLR because I thought photo quality would be 100. I had it on my mannequin, and I had like my backdrop was white. I had a bunch of lighting, right? And then I took all these pictures, and it would take me forever to then put my SD card in my computer because I don't have a Mac. I have a slow laptop, and then upload those, create the listing. Like it took really forever, and I was glued to my computer the whole time, and that just was not conducive to having small children. So I switched to mostly flat lays with my phone. So what I'll do is and again, like I'm not saying this is right, I'll lay out like my flat lay stuff because I have to hurry while my kids are either in quiet time or at night before the light all goes away. I'll lay out my flat lay stuff, put some lighting out. I have some lighting out along with my sunlight, and I feel like that makes it really nice and bright, which to me makes the biggest difference. Instead of like what kind of lens, what kind of camera, when I have really bright, clear light, it looks really crisp on my 6S Plus. So then as I'm going about my week, I'll look at I delete any pictures that I've already created the listing for, and I'll just create. I don't draft anything before. Maybe I should. And I know people do it, and I don't. I just I pull up the pictures. I try to take them in the same like pictures, like all my dresses, all my activewear, leggings together, jeans together, and then I will do sell similar and just change up the brand and the size. So I'll just create the listings as I go throughout the week, at the pool, at the park, at night in bed, or in the morning when I get up. So I'm loving all of your ideas, and I'm going to try the draft method first. Maybe that would help things go faster. Maybe I could draft everything and then take all the pictures and then just sync them up while I'm at the park and the pool. Maybe that would be faster. I don't know.
That sounds good. So I want to present a couple of ideas because I think this is important to think about. In my earlier call today, there's 2 people who went over 100,000 today for listed. And both of them have separated all these processes in a couple of different areas. One is the photography. If they're doing clothing, they separate measuring and photography and somehow do a good job of syncing it, because that can be a disaster if they don't sync correctly and you're putting the wrong measurements in. Then you're definitely not going to sell it because it's listed wrong. And even if you do sell it, it's going to be a return. So there are no people that measure and photograph at the same time so far that I've seen that do it well. And then also with listing, they have different people who price, research, write the keyword is different than the person who uploads the photo. They've actually separated that into two different people. So they have people who are, their job is just to make sure they're entering the right photos. And there's other people who are just building the titles. And that's the highest paid person. The person that makes sure the item specifics are all filled out, the keywords are good. And that's what people are paying a premium for, because that job is the hardest. And currently, those two operations, everything is done except for that. That's the one thing they did not outsource, was the drafting. Everything else is done, shipping. And one gentleman, his goal is to get 600,000 listed on eBay. And that's only 3 or 4 people. Again, not as big of an operation as you would think, but people are specializing in one type of deal. And that's what I want us to think about, because scale is when you start taking away some of the processes. And that's why FBA is so bomb for so many people. And I want to do FBA just so I can say I've done it. It's like something I want to conquer. So like, I'm really excited now about getting eBay to the point where I can actually take a break from it, which is going to require a system clean enough that someone can ship for you. Because worst case scenario, if you just have someone who's shipping for you, you can actually take a break. They'll go in and they'll fulfill the orders for you, and you can take some time off instead of being glued to it or doing vacation mode. But we should all aspire to get to that point, because eBay is hard. We're investing a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears into it. It'd be cool to have an eBay and an Amazon business. I'd say 75% of the people who ask me questions are baller Amazon sellers. They want both. So that's just the reality. But there's a lot of eBay sellers that never want to do Amazon. So, but most of the Amazon people I know also want to do eBay. There's also a lot more ownership of it. Like you feel like you are delivering a product to your friend. So I just want to do both. And I think that for me, I've been super psyched since thinking about when I meet eBay sellers that have vacation, I'm like, how did you do that? How did you get to the point where you take a break completely off and it doesn't hurt your business? I think that the measuring and photographing, you would think, this really bothers me, that laying the garment out twice, once to take measurements and once to take photos, would be a waste of time, but they all do that. So I don't know.
So and this is, you guys tell me again, like, tell me if this is just the dumbest, but I just started so I do pictures of the items, really crisp and clean pictures. And then I take a photo of a sewing measuring tape. Like I have white sewing measuring tape. I do that on the garment. So I don't even put in my descriptions anymore that the measurements. It doesn't seem to be affecting my sales. It actually increased, if anything, but I don't know if that's just me listing more. So I will just put a waist, chest, length, measurement, clear in the pictures. And then anytime it says inseam, or, I'll just say see photos and then be done. And it seems to not impede my picture taking, because it's one extra little step of boom, move the tape, click. I don't know. And then I don't have to then I'm just touching it one time. I don't know, but you're right. But yeah, if others are doing it and killing eBay, and they do it they do the measurements separately, then maybe I should do it.
Also, I want to point out, Laura and I did a show last Friday. There are a lot of large sellers that don't do measurements at all. And
Okay.
So it does increase your returns for sure, but maybe not enough where it matters.
That it warrants it, yeah.
We might be paranoid. It may not actually matter. I have a friend who has 2,000 listings, and he has a default answer that says, sorry, we don't take measurements.
Yeah, I actually was going to bring something up in regards to photos. When I first started, there was so many people that will message you and be like, hey, can I get an additional picture at this angle and stuff like that. I did that for months. Like I would literally run home and make sure that I like gave them all these different angles, and never once did any one of those people buy anything. So then after like the first 4 months of like trying so hard to get like, and then you would send them the picture and they'd be like, that's not the angle I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So
or thanks.
Right. So from now on, I've made a rule. Anytime anybody asks for additional photos, I just have an automatic response, which is very polite. And I just say, we do not do any additional photos, because it is what it is. There's tons of people that are buying these shoes without any problems or concerns.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's.
It could be a little different for shoes. I don't know. I felt like in the beginning, I said, I'm just going to list it. And I don't know what to put on my description. I'm starting off. And I just would describe the item and then add on like what I could pair it, cute with leggings, cute with boots, which of course that was like the beginning of me trying to be a customer, serve the customer. But then a lot of people are asking for measurements. And I said, okay, maybe I should go in and measure every single item. And I've experienced the opposite, where there's times where I get lazy now that I've done it a few months now, and they do request measurements, and I go back and I said, damn, I didn't do it. So then I hand them the measurements, I add it on the description, and they buy. And it's like, man, people are really paying attention to my listings, the ones that I forgot to put on, they actually request it and then they buy. So now, for sure, hands down, I don't want to be digging after the fact. So I just put the measurements down.
I'm going to say a pretty selfish thing, actually. I put measurements on my listings to protect myself, not for my customers. Because honestly, the people that I've noticed have asked 1,000,001 questions are the people that return your items. It happens to me all the time. The people that ask me 1,000,001 questions that I spend the most amount of time on are always going to be the ones that return it, because honestly, they weren't happy with the item before they even bought it, which is the reason why they're asking 1,000,001 questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I protect my butt by putting measurements so they can say, oh, it's not as described. And I can be like, well, actually it is as described because I put the measurements in the listing, right? So honestly, like, if they're going to buy the item, usually they know what their size is. And for pre-owned items, I think like they just want to make sure that it's not, too worn or too, like if it's shrunk in the wash or whatever. So I just feel like it's to protect my own butt. And also, like, yeah, what you guys said, most of my customers that I've asked 1,000,001 questions are the ones that return things. And I will have a request every once in a while that's like totally warranted, and of course I will try to appease my customers, even the craziest questions they have. But yeah, that's just been my experience. So
This is a good point to bring up because of time. And it takes X amount of time to get an item to measure another picture, or it takes more time to take 8 photos instead of 2. All this extra time added together. And when you look at giant stores, they all have a lot of negative feedback, and the negative feedback is always no communication from seller. They don't care about me. They're too big. Like they could have easily fixed this. Can't reach anybody. And they're just, instead of helping somebody, they're listing 10 more things. And I think that focus, has allowed them to get to thousands and thousands of items, which is interesting because, if a normal individual seller were to get 20, 30, 50 negative feedback a month, your heart would hurt if you were trying to provide people get really pissed off just when they get their first negative out of like 5,000 transactions. But every one of those things I'd say it takes half an hour for me to address one thing. Because I got to go do it, then I have to reset whatever I was doing before, because it already throws you off your game so much. And I've messaged larger sellers to see what their response are, and the response is always the same: no response. So you can ask.
Well, I think honestly, Chris, it depends on your business model.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're out there to be a big seller, I mean, just because we're online doesn't mean we have different business models than brick and mortars. I mean, if you want to be a small mom and pop online, then go for it. You can really talk to your customers more. You can be that one-on-one. You can be the face to your name, you know, but if you want to be a big seller, like, you know, a big store out there, like Walmart, Target, whatever,
Or
then
soccer.
heck,
And you
customer service is just not
be
going to be
big.
par, you know?
You can be
So.
big and also have great feedback. It's possible to do both.
You need a lot of hands.
I just want to share this store with you guys because it is mind-boggling. So this is Greg Morris Cards. They have 12,884 feedback this month with 0 negative. They have 191,000 feedback this year with 0 negative.
And what do they sell? Some kind of card?
They sell cards.
With no profile picture.
No
I hope they
profile
watch this
picture.
video.
No
I hope they
profile
watch this video.
picture.
Greg Morris Cards is lit. Like you guys are
lit. Look at this. Nothing. No branding. 18,000 listings. Perfect feedback.
like, it's so funny. It's so the opposite of what you would expect that amount of feedback to show. And it's just like so plain, like no profile.
And you're just like, what? All the stuff that we do, right? And clear white background, forget that. We're going to do blue background. Right?
They probably have never heard of Instagram or anything.
No, we don't. Yeah, we're just going to make a lot of money and not talk about, not follow any of the rules. Top rated seller. I wonder if they charge.
Chris, what's their shipping? Yeah, what do they charge shipping? It's free. I'm
they charge shipping.
Auctions, a lot of auctions there.
$3 for shipping.
Wow.
Since 2002. Wow.
So you're looking at, they charge for shipping, no white background, no frills. They probably don't have an Instagram or a Facebook page. Don't have any negative feedback in probably, let's see how many feedback they left for others. 1.7 million feedback left for others. That's how many things they've sold. No negative.
I will guarantee you they have some kind of, like, I don't know if it's an application that they're using or if they're just, I would assume it's an application that they are literally just like sending emails until somebody gives them positive feedback.
So 36 revised feedback. So they really care.
They really care about it, yeah.
And fixed 36 problems with customers.
How did you see that?
It says revised right here.
Oh, wow.
They're doing the samples model. It's 100% customer service.
Yeah. And so it is possible to be gigantic and have perfect feedback. So that is really inspiring because you'll see when you look at some stores, it's just not like that. When you get big, sometimes they stop caring. But okay, in their defense, it's still 99.9. Even with 50 or 60 negative feedback, it's just the volume. And I also think different products, if you're selling sports cards and you can just say, I apologize, it was damaged in shipping, it's free, instead of like, send me back those boots because they're, $160, I need them back. Then people wore them for 4 days and you don't want to give them their refund. And then, no one is using these cards.
Nobody's wearing them.
No one's wearing them. There's no switcheroo. I also want to bring up the fact that there's people in my other calls that don't sell clothing because of the return rate, period. They're just like, there's a gentleman that has had 2 returns in like 3,000 transactions. And it was because of his own error. Like you can sell in categories that have low returns. So clothing is not one of them.
Oh, yeah. I had a really painful return, if I can talk about it for a second. I sold a coat to somebody in Arizona, and they realized they live in Arizona, and it was a $125 coat that got returned this week. And I'm like, okay, you bought a coat, you live in Arizona. Yeah, it's a heavy coat, like, and you return it because it's heavy. That's the kind of stuff that you're just like, oh, really? Really? Okay, that's fine,
That's how people roll. So
I have a question, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, about you said that you mentioned that there was another call that you had with people that would go on vacation, right? For a person like that can go on vacation and has one or 4 members working for them. And if one person does one thing, right? One person's in charge of the drops, one person's a photo. And so what happens if that person doesn't show up, or like, do you think that's a lot of liability on one person only, or what did they do? Like, do you have a backup, or do you just jump in?
From what I've seen, the little, I would consider that a medium-sized store where you can kind of take actually let's consider it the smallest of an actual business. When you have a couple of people, none of them use contractors. That is a very different thing. They're not hiring contractors. They're actual employees, the people who have eBay businesses. And I think the people have a lot more buy-in. They're probably a lot more reliable because they may be getting benefits. They may be taking advantage. They may be actually treating these people more than just you take these photos then you leave.
True. Yeah. They have more. Yeah,
they're more in the game. Which
got it.
And so, also to give you guys an idea of what it looks like, it's between 500 and 1,000 new listings a week. That's what some of these operations look like. Wow. So the person that's still in charge basically buys and drafts 500 to 1,000 listings, and that's it. They don't touch the rest of the operation. It goes into the photo. So it's FBA. That's how they're able to scale to that level. They just enter it into the system, and then they go. Most of them actually they still have their job.
Oh, okay.
So that's
the key
probably
is to have
another
employees
reason.
instead of contractors.
Right. They have employees instead of contractors. They probably trust them more with their inventory. You probably have to have camera systems set up to prevent theft if they're just in there with all your goods. But it seems like it's the same thing with FBA. That's why there are people who scale FBA on their own, because you have the extra.
Like Ashley.
Ashley. I'm just gonna get my charger. But I think it would be cool to have a mini business operation of maybe 200 to 400 listings a week with 1 or 2 helpers, because then you could actually take some time off, and I think that's going to keep your sanity and hopefully not put too much stress on your relationship, which I think is really important. And a lot of my concern from people in the chat has been, I'm driving my family crazy with my reselling business, and I'm just like, hopefully you can get big enough that you can take some time off. That's sort of the goal. I also wanted to ask you guys this really quick. My girlfriend has decided to instill a rule that I cannot have more than 1 week of unlisted inventory capacity. And it's going to force me to source only the maximum dollar profit items I can list that week. And I think that's interesting because she's like, that's going to force you to spend the extra money you have on listing it faster, which I think is what you should do, because you want to own a business. You don't want to be, you don't necessarily want to be a supremely fast lister. You want to own an eBay business. So just something to consider. She's like, I would rather you spend money on getting it listed faster than having a larger death pile, because most of us don't have a sourcing problem. It's just like turn. So what do you guys think of having a maximum, whatever you could list in 1 week, death pile?
That's my goal too. That's probably what my boyfriend said. He's like, you need to stop sourcing. And I think my goal is to one day, and then my ideal day would be have only the items that I'm going to list in my office. And everything that's in my office is listed, meaning I have to go a little bit more often to go source, but that's only because I'm out of goods here. It makes sense to just, as a visual person, you see what's here and that's already listed. That's money. It's not money sitting on the floor. It's already listed.
And there's a big Amazon seller named Sam Cohen, which I'm sure you guys, or maybe you guys know or don't know. And he was talking about how he's trying to get inventory up within 24 hours of getting it. And that's how much he values the idle money. Doesn't want idle money. He'll stay up all night, get it done, and pass out for the next day to make sure that it's going to Amazon that day. It's available to sale as soon as possible to get
I'm
that.
assuming he does it full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that would be an option. But if you're the hustle bee, shout out to Ken, he was able to source 200 items over the course of a week that were $40 profit or more, 50, and then listed 3/4 of it in a day, because new with tags is relatively fast. So you could probably solo list everything if it was new and you had some decent quantities out there. So
I've been really trying hard to do that. So like I'm trying to list everything in my like that I have before you and I go sourcing again, Chris. Like that's my goal, because I went sourcing over the weekend when I went to Tahoe, and I have half of it drafted already. So I'm super proud of myself. By tomorrow, hopefully I'll have the rest of it drafted. But I need to upgrade my store because I ran out of fee, like zero
listings.
fee listings, and I'm so upset because I have all these drafts I need to make live, and I'm like, oh, I'll sit on them for 3 days. So
I'm also, it's just as on a random note, I'm gonna start washing all my clothing. So I wasn't gonna do that, but now if it's not worth washing, it's not worth buying. I'm gonna start sourcing some really high dollar clothing, and California is really wealthy. I would rather pay up and get something expensive, because that item you can discount and it will move, but you can't discount an already cheap item. You can't get rid of that. So like you're never gonna lose money on a Nike item if you discount it to what your good deal was. It's gonna go. So like that's a thing I'm gonna go. And if it's not worth washing, it's not worth picking up. And I'm just gonna switch that direction, because I think it's gonna force me. I'm not gonna wash anything Old Navy or Gap, no matter if it's brand new with tags. I would still not wash it or make it, nice. So I think that's important to start getting the good stuff, because as you get better at sourcing, in the beginning, I think you pick up everything that's profitable, but you graduate into, I only have so much time. Let's try to make a maximum dollar per item. If it's not worth taking care of. And then like now the stuff in my store is really premium. If I offer a slight discount, it moves immediately. And I just think that's such a huge advantage. And then also promoted listings. I just had a call previously with Teresa Cox, and she talks about how big of a boost that is. Have you guys had any experience with promoted listings? It's been great for me. Kevin, have you tried them?
What was that? The promoted listings you said?
Yeah, have you tried some?
Mm-mm.
I think you should try it.
Really?
Because you get the premium search. I would look though. I would imagine your SKUs probably already rank high.
Yeah, usually in the top 5.
Yeah, but that'll give you a number 4 placement.
Right.
Maybe something that's not doing that well.
I mean, it all depends on the item, and I can't really tell what it is. But like I said, I mean, I price stuff the cheapest on there, and then the feedback stays going up. So I don't know. We'll see. The other thing I want to get into is I still haven't opted into the new shipping thing with eBay, and I don't know if that's helping other people with sales or what.
I've opted in, and sales has been money, so I don't know if that's a combination of everything. But
now, which one did you opt into? I know that there's two, correct?
I have to ship by a certain date. One. So
okay,
within 1 business day.
Okay, so ship by date and then 1 business day.
And I'm shipping at night. Best hack ever. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I think that it is better to ship at night. The only thing is, because I'm on the East Coast, I have a lot of buyers from West Coast. So like as soon as I'll pass out, I usually wake up with 4 or 5 more sales than I went to bed with. So it's like, man, at that point, since I'm already having to package up 4 or 5 things, I might as well bang out the other 5 from the whole rest of the day. I actually am really busy at night. I looked at like there's transaction times, like periods of time during the day where you tend to be busier than others. Mm-hmm. And it does, like literally as soon as I would go to sleep on the East Coast, I actually pick up. So sometimes I like if I don't have work the next day and I just want to stay up and watch the sales come in, sometimes I do that just because I know it's about to be busy.
Because we're on the West Coast, I was doing same day cutoff before 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it was like basically one day handling since it was ending so early for us.
Wow. That's crazy.
Just so I could put the same day on there, but it really only works if you also live in California. But you can play with the metrics and see ship by a certain date. I don't necessarily think it
increases sales.
And I don't think better photos increases sales. I don't think better description increases sales.
I don't think people even read descriptions anymore. I'm starting to think no one even cares.
I just think that better pictures and measurements, you might be able to charge more, but it's not going to sell faster. It's going to sell the same rate.
No title.
Gotcha.
Title.
I use Laura's. I don't even want to call you Laura. I want to call you Thrifty Boss Babe because that's like a way cooler. I feel like that's way cooler. I use your format that you sent us in the group message.
Oh, good. Is it working for you? Okay.
I don't know if I've noticed a huge difference from it, but it definitely does look cleaner, and I think that ultimately it will. It's just easier to revise and edit items that you haven't touched in a while, to have something that you're continually using. I like it a lot, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah, will you do me a favor? Will you go look at your views for the titles that you've changed and get back to me on that?
Oh yeah, I can definitely do that.
And can you read one of them to us right now so we know what the format is? Because I didn't read whatever Laura sent us.
So let me just It was actually a good it was a good comment.
But let's I just want to make sure. Actually, maybe I did read it, but I just want to make sure.
I also even screenshotted it, so I can pull it up real quick that way.
Okay.
So all right, if you're you got it?
No, I'm gonna say that I think my sales have increased only because most of the items, probably 7 out of 10 that I sell, I look at the titles immediately to see if the size is within the mobile, right? Because I try my iPad and try my phone just to see what it would look like if it's cut off or anything. And yeah, their second, third is always my size, and that's what's been selling.
You're putting the size that early.
It's what was it? I switch it up here and there because I do get confused. It's brand and then gender, size, or bright brand size, but it's almost brand gender size.
The only thing, the only part of that I do that I go before in is I always usually put the word new first before brand. That's the only thing that I altered at all. But most of them are like with these new Adidas NMD R1 Zebra Pack size or men's size 12 US, and then at the very end I usually add the item product identifier, or I know Laura was saying put the MSRP or retail price of the item. I don't do that too much because I feel like it takes up characters, and what I do use is the listing builder, which will tell you popular searches for your item, and that the numbers usually don't matter as much as the product identifier does. So that's the only thing I don't use.
Are you guys having any issues with the new with tags items as far as having to re-enter in the UPC code?
Oh, I did hear about that. So apparently you have to list everything with a UPC code or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest problem people are having is when they buy things at discounted stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and stuff like that. Yeah, because they'll have their own UPC within their scan bar, right? So you have to literally scrape their tags off of the original MSRP to get the original UPC, and sometimes it just doesn't come up very well because if you're trying to use the TJ Maxx or the Marshalls or whatever, that's not the original.
It's not going to work. No.
So
and those stores always put their tags over the original tag, which is so difficult.
Yeah, it is. And that's, I think, where people are getting confused. They're using their discount or for instance, sometimes TJ Maxx, Marshalls, all them, they will officially like cut the original tag off and then put their own.
And that's
Like they
also
don't even.
sometimes part of their agreement. Like
Yeah.
Amazon,
That they have to.
those goods new. So no, not really. So like when Mary and I were at eBay, Laura, come next time. They have the guy that's in charge of the eBay database was there, and we were like the Amazon seller app is so dope. You can scan it and list it at the store,
Right.
and you can't do that with eBay.
And is that coming?
You
Tell me
And
scan.
I
that's coming.
totally, I
Yeah.
called them out. No, I called them out.
No,
I was
they
like,
know. They know. I'm
they
just like,
know. Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
they
how can
know.
you be so late to the RA game and not allow people to, like, you have to re-enter what you just scanned.
Mhm.
It's like
Right.
that's unbelievable compared to
And
Amazon.
Also, what I actually ran into was certain brands. So there's some stuff that I pick up, and they do have like they know the SKU number on there, and I'll put it in. But then it'll send an alert saying this brand, specifically Calvin Klein. I had a dress; it was brand new. It said this
Right.
brand requires UPC, and it's like I'm putting it on there, and it's not working. So certain brands like Calvin Klein, I guess, will limit you if you don't put it in. You cannot put do not apply.
Do you guys ever put in the UPC? Because I never do. I always just put in do not apply.
They're gonna stop it for Nike.
Definitely.
They're gonna eventually end your listings and you have to enter it in. They don't want do not apply on their website. So for new,
Gotcha.
eventually they're gonna move that.
That'll be a fun day.
That'll be a fun day. So, guys, do you have anything else you want to discuss? Actually, looks pretty fried. Long day.
Sorry, no, I'm good. I'm just like overwhelmed. There's so much to learn. And part of me is like, maybe I should just do Amazon. Like eBay is so much work compared to like Amazon. You know, I can like this morning, I don't know if this is something we can talk about. Like this morning I did a bunch of OA, right?
Mhm.
And it was as easy as ordering it, and it'll be as easy as getting it to my door, slapping a label on it, and sending it right back to Amazon in the same box. So like eBay is fun, and I find a ton of really good stuff at garage sales that I can't say no to. But like all of this makes me like feel tired just listening to all these little hacks with eBay that like sound really complicated. It's like hieroglyphics. Like how do I okay, now I have to change my title and then put the UPC and then adjust old titles. And then if I don't have the right keywords, then it won't show up, and then I have to list every day to like wake up my store. You know, it's just like a lot of all these like whereas with Amazon you literally just scan it in, you send it in, you have a repricer, and like you are done. So
That's a great point because
totally like team Amazon right now. Like I love my eBay store. I don't mean to like I love you. Like honestly, eBay is super fun. It's way more fun and it feels more like mine. And I have fun listing and it's totally great. But
I think that's important.
It feels overwhelming to hear all this, like these little hacks with eBay. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I can't sell what I love on Amazon.
Yeah, well, the whole reason that you don't like why you like Amazon more is the reason why I like eBay more, because I feel like it's like you said, it's mine. Whereas I don't like Amazon telling me what the heck to do. Like, don't tell me what to sell. Don't tell me how to price. Don't help. Like, that's why I like eBay, is because I feel like it's mine, right? And so I think it's just your preference as far as it's like your selling style. And that's fine. Like everybody has their own selling style. And that's why one person's store is not going to be the same as another on eBay. You know what I mean?
Yep. Right. No, it's right. And whereas I'm like, Amazon, you tell me what to do. I bow to you. You tell me whatever you want, I will give you. I will sacrifice my firstborn if you will just continue to let me do whatever the heck I'm doing. But yeah, you do. Amazon is the king and they don't let you. They're very strict and they have a lot of things, you know. Anyway.
And
yeah.
this is I'm a hybrid. Like I'm a business dude. I want a business, and that's I'm building the business part of eBay. But I like the garage sale fun part. So that's the fun part for me. I'm never gonna stop doing that, even if I'm a billionaire. I just like hunting. But the business part, like I can't wait to finish this 10,000 item challenge and then make sure my store stays at that level while I work on other stuff, because it's interesting. But I will never stop the garage selling, because finding stuff for $1 that sells for $100 is never going to get old.
Totally.
And
I'm the same.
I like talking to people. So let's talk about what we want to get done this week. Who wants to start? You guys did what you said you were going to do. Mary, are you ready? You said you were going to move your older items to auction, which you did.
Yes, I did, and I got them out with most of them. Let's see, I'm at 505. I've been working a little bit more aggressively towards my bookkeeping, just because that was one of the ones that were holding me back. That was one of the topics that was holding me back. Just gathering all the information so that I won't be behind when the time comes.
Okay.
I was also restocking. Reminder, Q4 is coming, so USPS tends to be a little slow with a lot of the boxes, so I'm kind of getting ahead of that.
That's a good idea. We should all order boxes.
That is an absolutely phenomenal idea.
We'll put that on everyone.
So funny story, like the reason I had to dip out for a second is because my doorbell rang with my package supplies. So I'm super stoked because I totally ran out.
Nice. So everyone order boxes if you haven't already from the post office. Kevin, what do you want to do this week?
I'm going to try to break 60. And I have to get the downstairs. So I have a guy that used to work for Nike. I've mentioned before that helps me keep everything organized downstairs. And he was on vacation. So he just came back. And since in his absence, I basically had a pallet that everything that's gotten listed, I've piled on. And then I kind of want him to rearrange the shelving and put it away. So hopefully I can get him to do that, or if not, work on that. So that I want to discount my items that aren't selling. I went through and I found a bunch of things that I've been sitting on for a while that need to go. I need to turn that money over and put it into something better. So that would be another. And yeah, break 60. And that's about it. I guess order shipping supplies.
That's a lot already. You want to delegate the pallet, order boxes, and break 60 grand. That's a lot. Cashley?
Right now I want to run away. No. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to do? Because I am in that, I don't know, I'm a little burnt out, honestly. And so, and I know my kids, so they can't, they're not going to be away the rest of this week. They're going to just be with me full time and not even have little breaks here and there. It'll just be all me. So I'm I don't know.
How about no eBay this week and work on Amazon?
Well, the thing is I have overflowing amounts of eBay stuff. That's my problem. I have a ton to list on eBay, in the hundreds of items because of the orders that I got.
Do you think you could get an eBay helper?
I tried 2 eBay helpers and it did not work out. It was kind of a disaster.
Are you a horrible boss? Just kidding.
She was going to dignify that with the best response ever, Chris. You should have hesitated for a couple of minutes there.
No, I don't think so.
She was literally about to go in all right, here's what happened.
No,
I didn't fire them. They fired me.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I am just a hot mess. Yeah, so I don't know. Because this is my problem. I can't not garage sale because I went garage selling and I picked up 27 Lululemon pieces and Tory Burch and some purses and got these amazing deals. I just can't. So yeah, I'm a mess.
Looking like a true thrifter. Girl, you gotta stop going eventually. The more stuff you pile up, the harder you're gonna dig yourself into a hole. Really.
Oh, I know.
There will always be stuff to source. Don't ever worry about that. There will always be a new deal.
That's true.
That's true. I have total FOMO. It's true though.
What if we miss Saturday? I don't think I could do it.
I missed last Saturday. It's totally possible.
It's not possible.
Oh, guys. Yeah, so sorry, Chris. I don't know what am I even talking about? I need to just maybe I just need to stop sourcing for eBay and just get that stuff listed slowly but surely. Okay. And then for Amazon, this is my goal this week that please hold me to it. I want to get a fulfillment center, a prep center going. Because you can get those set up in a tax-free state. And I feel like that would alone cover the costs of prepping the items. And then Amazon is 100% hands off, because I'm finding really good online deals that are selling for a profit that I'm replenishing. And I'm like, I just need to, if I could just have that outsourced completely, it would be a dream. So
okay, that's a good goal. Reduce your eBay and start doing the prep center research. We're
Yeah.
gonna hold you accountable.
Okay.
Who's next?
Me.
Okay,
Am I
Laura,
next?
what's up? Yep.
Okay, so I've kind of changed my approach, and pretty much what Mary's goal was last week is going to be my goal this week, is to get rid of the crap, right? Like get rid of, I've been I think I've been pretty, doing pretty well with my sourcing, trying to get items that will at least give me like a $30 profit or more. So like the things that I got at the very beginning when I first went full time are things I just need to get out of my store. So I think I really want to start fresh and not focus on the amount of active I have, but just focus on the quality of active I have, and try to get that sold number high and not my active.
Okay, I think that's a great goal, because getting that, it's just vanity, having a lot of items. You want to get the good stuff in there. To give you as an example, like my Husky store is $36 average, and I'm liquidating my big store to never buy something not worth washing again. So I'm just going to buy stuff that's $20 plus shipping that costs $2. So like I'm going to be extremely strict, go for the 10X model, because there's so much profit in used items. It'll allow me to hire staff, but it doesn't work. You can't hire staff with $10 plus shipping items, even though it seems like it's doable. Because the problem is you can't discount a $10 plus shipping item is the problem. It doesn't sell faster. Even for 5 free shipping, it doesn't sell. So, but if you have an item worth 40 and you discount it to 28, it's gone. So that's just the reality of not being able to absorb it. Like I tried a 24-hour sale of 99 cents free shipping just to see if I could blow out hundreds of items. It didn't do anything. So I was like, that's not even worth doing if it doesn't sell faster. So, and all those items cost me like 10 cents from that giant Goodwill thing that I did. That those items, they sell just as fast for $15 as they do for $1, because there's just so little traffic to those types of items. So like, I bet if Kevin did a 50% off sale, he might wake up to his store being empty. So that would be right. If you sell good stuff, it's going to be gone.
That would be a bad day.
Yeah, and like what we talked about, like to get, because I want to get up to like that 1,800 to 2,000 item store. But I want to, and because that'll be like where I'm like clearing 100 grand plus, but I want to clear 100 grand at $1,000, 1,000 items in my
That's
store.
right.
So if I can focus more on quality instead of quantity at this point, I feel like my game will make a really good turnaround.
We got to call it a night, guys, because it's getting late. So everyone tell people where they can find you. Let's start with Ashley.
You can find me at Hustle at Home Mom on Instagram and YouTube. And I have a Facebook page that you can like, but there's not much action there.
Sounds good. Mary?
Well, you guys can only find me on Instagram at Feel Good Finds, which I got to say thank you to everybody who follows me. I just hit 10K last week. That was kind of crazy. But thank you. Feel Good Finds with the Z.
Kevin?
Yep, I'm on Instagram and it's at the Clutch Swag, and I have a Facebook page, but again, same as before. There's no action on there.
Sounds good. Thrifty Boss Babe?
Well, you said it already, Chris. I'm at Thrifty Boss Babe on Instagram as well as YouTube. So
Cool.
go find.
I'll put all the links in the description below. Guys, I got to end the call, so I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Good night. Love you guys. Bye.